Hello everyone, and welcome back to Aetherfall, Land of Aldera. We've touched upon it already, but today we're going deeper into the virtues that exist within the game. There are 7 different virtues taken up by Zeterians in the world of Aether. The 7 ways of thinking are insanity, might, philosophy, clarity, instinct, peace, and fortitude. These Pantheons of Thinking have been growing in popularity before, and exploded after the events of the Great War. Devoting yourself to one of the ways makes you a disciple of its path, which, like a chem addiction in Fallout 4, leads to buffs while under its influence, and debuffs when you renounce the path. To start a devotion, you must find a teacher of this way of thinking. Several ways of thinking are directly in conflict with one another, and so the player cannot receive the benefits or be on the path of 2 conflicting ways of thinking at the same time. Each path will have a quest associated with their usage. After a while, the player can become an archpriest of a single virtue. This may sound a bit confusing, so let's go and delve into these details for each of the 7. We start with insanity, the most controversial and powerful of the paths. Some believe that any successful person has to be at least slightly insane, while others argue that it was insanity that caused the Great War. For the path of insanity, it's incompatible with philosophy, clarity, and peace. At a level 1 devotion, you'll get an increased boost to damage per every kill in a single battle. At level 2 devotion, you'll get an additional damage resistance to the level 1 perk. At level 3, you get the ability to eat dead NPCs. Eating a corpse will make the player skyrocket in health and armor, and deal double damage for a few seconds. At level 4, it will give you the ability to scream at enemies, causing lower level ones to turn on one another, and higher ones to debuff to their armor and damage. It's a very powerful path, thus, it has some very powerful nerfs. You will be unable to eat or drink past being hungry and thirsty respectively, and allies may appear as enemies in combat. To maintain the path, you'll have to do gory kills, eating corpses, killing non-violent NPCs, stealing items of no worth, bribing NPCs, and choosing crazy dialogue options. It's lowered by following laws and choosing peaceful resolutions. Next is the path of might, which is incompatible with peace. At level 1 and 2 devotions, you'll receive a boost to your physical attributes. At level 3 devotion, you'll have the ability to make lower level enemies drop their weapons on sight of the player. You maintain the path by doing quests/tasks for weak NPCs, such as children and old people, killing very high level or dangerous enemies, winning fistfights, killing evil NPCs, and any other tasks associated with might. It's lowered by choosing peaceful resolutions of conflict and using magic. After that, we have the path of philosophy, which is incompatible with insanity and instinct. At level 1 and 2 devotions, you'll gain a buff to any spells of persuasion, and also a buff to your speech skill. At level 3 devotion, it allows the player to enter dialogue with enemy NPCs, allowing you to reach a peaceful resolution where otherwise will be impossible. Level 4 devotion allows you to speak with hostile humans within an area and make them friendly or followers. You maintain the path by avoiding fights with high-level enemies, discussing life with NPCs, and finding peaceful resolutions in quests and having good karma. Then we have the path of clarity, which is incompatible with insanity. At level 1, you get an increase to the level that you hear enemy noises. At level 2, it will slowly decrease enemy movement speed and increase your own movement for every second within combat that the enemy is not actively attacking the player, for up to a 10% boost for both player speeds. Level 3 allows the player to highlight every hostile within a large radius around them. And at level 4, it allows you to freeze time for several seconds, but it can only be used once a day. You can maintain the path by walking while in combat, drinking water, sleeping regularly, and choosing calm dialogue options. It is lowered by doing just the opposite. Moving on, we go to the path of instinct, which is incompatible with philosophy and peace. At level 1, it gives you bonus damage with ranged weapons and daggers. At level 2, it gives you twice as much pelts and meats from animals killed, and twice as much gold from humans killed in stealthy ways. At level 3, it highlights NPCs that turn hostile in the future. For example, a raider posing as a settler in need of help. You can maintain this path by performing stealth kills, avoiding fights with high-level enemies, eliminating low-level enemies, completing hunting quests, killing targets before they become hostile, and eating game. Then there is the path of peace, which is incompatible with might, instinct, and insanity. It provides unique dialogue options, including the option to say things like, "Hey guys, let's just chill out," which can make every NPC in a bar or bandit become immediately hostile. At level 1, it gives a buff to communication attributes and illusion spells. At level 2, it allows you to sing and dance, distracting enemies. Certain animals will fall asleep to the music, while human enemies will stop their doing and dance along. Level 3 delays enemies from entering combat with you. You maintain the path by being nice, doing good quests, and being peaceful, obviously. Finally, we have the path of Fortitude, which is compatible with all other paths. At level 1, it gives you an increased damage resistance depending on how low your health is. At level 2, it gives you a buff to total damage when a limb is crippled. At level 3, you now gain an additional buff depending on what limb is damaged. Crippled legs gives you increased speed, crippled head gives you increased intelligence and perception, arms gives increased melee damage, and torso gives increased weight and armor. It also eliminates the debuffs of these. You maintain the path by taking damage, ignoring crippled limbs and infections, neglecting food, sleep, or drink, and refusing quest rewards. It is lowered by healing yourself when above 50% health, buying health equipment, oversleeping, overeating, or overdrinking. There is one more path, the path of the gods, which is incompatible with all other paths. It's a late game path, as in order to forge the sigil needed, you must collect an artifact by every way of thinking and forge them into a single amulet. It gives a major boost to all stats the player has, but requires partaking in a deadly quest in order to obtain its blessing. And that is all the paths for you to choose in the game. Thank you everyone for watching the video. In the next one, I'll detail what quests will be associated with each of the Pantheons of Thinking. Make sure to like and subscribe to Aetherfall Studios, as these help the channel a lot. This has been Brian, and I hope to see you all next time. Bye for now.